Have you ever noticed that thick line around the middle of a globe? It's not just a random decoration. It actually represents something incredibly important about our planet. That's the equator, Earth's invisible belt. Even though you can't see it from space, it's one of the most significant lines we use to understand our world. It's not a real line, but an imaginary one we use to split the planet into two halves, the northern and southern hemispheres. This division helps us make sense of where things are on Earth. The equator sits at 0 degrees latitude, making it the starting point for measuring north and south. Every other line of latitude is measured in degrees away from the equator, either to the north or to the south. Everything above it is the northern hemisphere. Think North America, Europe, and most of Asia. This is where you'll find the Arctic Circle in the north. Pole 2. Everything below is the southern hemisphere, like Australia, most of South America, and even Antarctica at the very bottom. These regions have their own unique climates and wildlife. This division is a basic building block of geography. It helps us organise maps, study weather patterns, and understand how different parts of the world relate to each other. The equator is the longest latitude line, circling the widest part of the Earth. It stretches for about 40,075 kilometres, or nearly 25,000 miles, wrapping all the way around the globe. Earth bulges a bit at the middle because of its rotation, so the equator marks this widest spot. This bulge is called the equatorial bulge, and it means the planet isn't a perfect sphere. It's where the sun's rays hit most directly, shaping weather, climate, and even the types of plants and animals that thrive there. That's why rainforests, with their incredible biodiversity, are often found near the equator. Imagine trying to describe a spot on an orange. Drawing a line around the middle makes it much easier. The equator does the same for Earth, giving us a clear reference point. That's what the equator does for our planet. It's a reference point for scientists, pilots, and sailors. It helps them navigate, study the environment, and even plan flights and sea routes. Long before GPS, this line helped people figure out where they were on Earth. Explorers and navigators relied on the equator to chart their journeys and make maps. The equator is the baseline for our global positioning system. Every GPS coordinate starts with a reference to latitude, and the equator is always 0. It's a simple idea, but it organises how we talk about locations, climates, and seasons. The equator helps us understand why seasons are different in each hemisphere. Without it, our maps and navigation would be a lot more confusing. Imagine trying to find your way without any clear starting point. The equator is the foundation for understanding our world. It's the first step in learning about geography, navigation, and even how our planet works. It's not just a line, it's the starting point for exploring the planet. Many scientific expeditions and adventures begin at or near the equator. Next time you look at a globe, remember, that invisible belt is what keeps our world organised. It's a guide that connects every continent and ocean. And it's the reason we can talk about north, south, and everything in between. Thanks to the equator, we have a way to describe every place on Earth, no matter where you are. Have you ever wondered who first thought of the equator? Or how people even came up with the idea of drawing an invisible line around the middle of the Earth? Truth is, it wasn't the work of just one person or a single moment of inspiration. It was a long, fascinating process that spanned centuries and involved many curious minds. Long before modern science, ancient people spent years watching the sky. They noticed that the sun's path changed throughout the year, rising and setting in different places as the seasons shifted. By carefully observing these patterns, they began to realize that the Earth couldn't be flat as many once believed. Instead, it had to be a sphere, a round, three-dimensional world. The ancient Greeks, in particular, were pioneers in using math and logic to understand our planet. They calculated the Earth's size, mapped the stars, and even estimated distances using clever geometry. These thinkers imagined a grid system to help describe locations, with poles at the top and bottom, and a special line running exactly halfway between them, the equator. The word equator comes from the Latin equator, which means equalizer. This is because, at the equator, day and night are almost the same length all year round, making it a place of balance. But the equator wasn't just a clever idea on paper. It had real, practical uses for people trying to understand and explore the world. Early sailors and explorers relied on the sun and stars to figure out how far north or south they were from this invisible line, helping them travel safely across oceans and unknown lands. The equator quickly became a universal reference point for navigation, making it possible to create accurate maps and plan long journeys. This was the beginning of global mapping and the science of geography, allowing people to chart the world in ways never before possible. Thanks to the equator, anyone, anywhere on Earth, could measure their position and understand where they were in relation to the rest of the world. This simple but powerful idea connected people across continents, making exploration, trade and communication possible on a global scale. The equator turned our planet into a map that everyone could read and understand, no matter where they live. Even today, the equator is the backbone of navigation, science and geography. It's a key reference point for everything from climate studies to space exploration. Without the equator, we'd be lost, both literally when trying to find our way and figuratively in our understanding of the world. The equator is the line that made the world make sense, bringing order and clarity to our place on this amazing planet. Ancient Greek thinkers, especially Eratosthenes, played a crucial role in shaping our understanding of the world. Their curiosity and willingness to question what they saw around them led to some of the most important discoveries in history, including the concept of the equator. Eratosthenes, a brilliant mathematician working in Egypt, was fascinated by the mysteries of the Earth. Over 2,000 years ago, he used the idea of the equator to make a groundbreaking estimate of Earth's circumference, a feat that was centuries ahead of its time. He observed that at noon on the summer solstice, the sun stood directly overhead in Syene, while in Alexandria it cast a noticeable shadow. This simple observation sparked a revolutionary idea. By carefully measuring the angle of the shadow in Alexandria and knowing the exact distance between the two cities, Eratosthenes was able to calculate the size of our planet. His answer was astonishingly close to what modern science tells us today, showing just how powerful careful observation and mathematics can be. Eratosthenes' work proved that the equator wasn't just a theoretical line. It was a practical tool that could be used for real meaningful measurement and understanding of our world. Later on, geographers like Ptolemy expanded on these ideas. They created detailed maps with latitude lines running parallel to the equator, making navigation and exploration possible on a much larger scale. The equator soon became the main reference point for all other measurements on Earth, serving as the foundation for our entire system of global coordinates. Even though ancient maps were far from perfect, their system, with the equator at the very centre, still shapes the way we draw and understand maps today. The influence of these early thinkers is still visible every time we look at a globe. The equator transformed from a philosophical concept into a practical tool, bridging the gap between imagination and reality. It's a powerful testament to the impact of observation, logic, and the human drive to understand our place in the universe. Thanks to these ancient thinkers, we now have a global grid, a network of latitude and longitude lines that guides explorers, scientists, and travellers all around the world. The equator is the original line that helped us map the world, and its legacy continues to guide us as we explore and learn more about our planet. The equator isn't just a line on a map, it crosses real places. It passes through 13 countries, from South America to Africa to Asia. In South America, it runs through Ecuador, Colombia, and Brazil. Ecuador is even named after the equator, and you can visit the middle of the world monument in Quito. The line also cuts through the Amazon rainforest, teeming with life. In Africa, it crosses 7 countries, including Uganda and Kenya, where you can go on safari right on the equator. Road signs mark the crossing, and local cultures are shaped by the equatorial climate. In Asia, the equator passes through Indonesia and the Maldives, and even the island nation of Kiribati in the Pacific. Indonesia's equatorial islands are famous for rainforests and unique wildlife. For people in these countries, the equator shapes their environment, culture, and even tourism. It's a source of identity and pride. The equator connects diverse places with a shared feature. It's the world's most famous invisible line, touching lives across the globe. What's it like to live on the equator? Think endless summer. There are no 4 seasons, just wet and dry. Temperatures stay warm year-round, usually between 25 and 30 degrees Celsius. The equator gets the most direct sunlight, so days and nights are almost always 12 hours each. The sun rises and sets at nearly the same time every day. This steady sunlight fuels lush rainforests like the Amazon and Congo. Plants thrive and animal life explodes in diversity. The warmth also means lots of rain. Mornings can be sunny, but afternoons often bring powerful thunderstorms. That's why equatorial regions are home to the world's biggest rainforests. A combination of heat and rain creates a paradise for life. The equator's climate is unique, stable, warm, and bursting with biodiversity. It's the planet's green engine. The equator is the backbone of global navigation. Before GPS, sailors used the equator and stars to find their way. The North Star's position told them how far north they were. At the equator, it's right on the horizon. In the southern hemisphere, they used the Southern Cross. The equator is 0 degrees latitude. Every other latitude is measured from it. Combine latitude with longitude, and you get a grid that pinpoints any spot on Earth. Even today, pilots and ships rely on this system. Your phone's GPS uses the same principles, just with satellites. The equator is the anchor for all these measurements. Without it, mapping and navigation would fall apart. It's the invisible framework that keeps us oriented. The equator keeps the world connected and on course. Visit the equator and you'll see some wild demonstrations. Guides show water draining straight down on the line, swirling one way in the north and the other in the south. It looks magical, but it's mostly a trick. The Coriolis effect is real, but too weak to change water in a sink. Another myth, balancing an egg on a nail at the equator. Fun, but you can do it anywhere with patience. These myths make the equator feel special and spark curiosity about science. Sailors even had line crossing ceremonies when they first crossed the equator, a rite of passage at sea. These traditions turn an invisible line into a real adventure. Myths and rituals make the equator memorable. They remind us that science can be fun and mysterious. Why does the equator matter now? It's more important than ever. The world's biggest rainforests, like the Amazon and Congo, sit on the equator, absorbing carbon and producing oxygen. What happens here affects the whole planet's climate. Space agencies launch rockets near the equator to use Earth's fast spin for an extra boost. Many communication satellites orbit above the equator, staying fixed in the sky for global TV and phone signals. The equator is a hotspot for biodiversity and culture. Its stable climate lets unique plants, animals, and societies thrive. Studying the equator teaches us about climate, biology, and how everything is connected. It's a place of extremes, rain, life, and importance. The equator is key to understanding our planet's health. It links weather, technology, and culture. This invisible line shapes the world in ways we see every day. The equator is at the heart of our planet's story. The equator affects your life, even if you're far from it. Weather patterns and ocean currents born at the equator help regulate temperatures worldwide. Many foods you love, bananas, coffee, chocolate, grow best in equatorial countries. Your breakfast might have started its journey near the equator. Understanding the equator helps you read maps, follow global news, and see why some regions matter so much. It's a basic tool for global literacy. The equator connects north and south, history and today, science and culture. It's a reminder that we all share one planet. The simple idea of an invisible line has shaped how we explore, navigate, and understand our world. Knowing about the equator is like having a compass for the whole